business started.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
It is good to see you all. We'll get started in just a couple of minutes. Thank you all for joining. Mark, good to see you.
Thank you.
Terry, Jean, Angela, Minette, Judy. I won't go through everybody, but it's great to see all of you. I haven't been outside for a little while, but rumor has it it's beautiful outside. So if it's still light out by the time we're done, I hear you make sure to take advantage of going outside. Jerry, Flo, hello.
Good afternoon.
Sandy, welcome. Phyllis, hi, good to see you.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Shell. All right, we'll give it another 30 seconds or so, and then we'll get started.
Good afternoon.
Sandy, welcome. Phyllis, hi, good to see you.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Shell. All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our monthly State of the Business meeting for the Terraces of Los Gatos. Today is February 3rd, and would like to wish everyone a happy and prosperous Lunar New Year. It's wonderful to have you all joining us today. We have residents, we have some family members, team members, as well as advisory board members all here. And whether you are joining us through Zoom or through TLG TV, we thank you for taking the time to be with us today. For those of you that may be joining us for the first time, we'd like to extend to you a very special welcome. We are so glad that you are here and that you are a part of our community. Typically, every month on the first Thursday of the month, we meet for our monthly State of the Business meeting, always at 3:30 p.m. Typically, we meet in the Glen Rouse Assembly Hall. However, today we meet virtually due to the current state of COVID-19, which we will certainly be discussing a little bit further later in the hour. But if all goes well between now and then, we hope to meet in person in the GRA for next month's State of the Business. That being said, even when we return to meeting in person for the State of the Business, we will continue to make these meetings available to join remotely through Zoom or through TLG TV. For those of you that are joining us here on Zoom, if you have any questions or comments throughout today's presentation, feel free to either send a chat through the chat feature, and we will do our best to get to all of the questions or comments as promptly as possible. Also, feel free to unmute yourselves if you have any questions throughout the various reports that we will be providing. We have a lot to cover today, so we will get right into it. First, I would like to extend my appreciation to the TLG Advisory Board. The board consists of about 15 volunteers, 3 of which are residents, and the rest of whom are residents of the greater Los Gatos and Montessorino communities who volunteer their time, their talents, their energy to support the terraces of Los Gatos in various ways. For those of you from the advisory board that are here with us today, thank you for joining us. And today we are privileged to hear a few comments from one of our advisory board members who has been a part of the terraces of Los Gatos possibly longer than all of us, actually. Mark Knudsen, we'll turn the time over to Mark, and he will allow us to get to know him a little bit better. So, Mark, take it away.
Thank you for those kind words, Bradley. It's just a real privilege to be here today with you. I'm sorry we're not in person, but here I am, and here you are, and I see so many familiar faces down there. I'm just sorry I can't wave to all of you and say hi, but I'm going to try and fill you in a little bit on the path that's gotten me to be at this spot today on the advisory board talking to you. My life started in Seattle, Washington, where I was born. But very shortly after I was born, my parents moved with me to Berkeley, where my father was joined the faculty of one of the seminaries in Berkeley. So I grew up in Berkeley and went to Berkeley schools and graduated from Berkeley High. And after my years in Berkeley, I attended the University of Redlands in Redlands, California, where I got a bachelor's degree in biology. And that was, the year was 1963. And in those days, you probably remember, the Peace Corps was a big topic of discussion on university campuses. So I enrolled to become a volunteer and was accepted to become a Peace Corps volunteer in Malaysia. So, and at the same time, I got married. So I got married, joined the Peace Corps, went to Malaysia, all within a few days. And it was all very exciting. My experience in Malaysia was one of being a teacher. I taught in a secondary school there and taught biology and health science and other related things, although I ended up teaching a lot of English. Not that I was particularly qualified to do that, but I think because they thought I could speak it, I must be able to teach it. Anyway, it was a great experience. And I enrolled for an extra year there, so I spent 3 years totally in the Peace Corps. Returning from Malaysia, I went to graduate school at UC Berkeley. I continued my education in biology and eventually ended up with a master's degree in biology. So I was well on the way to being a biologist, to being a lab worker. And my first job was with the State Department of Public Health as a researcher. But I found out pretty early on in my career as a biologist that I was really not very well suited to being a lab worker. I really missed being out among people, being involved where that was my main well, that was my main activity, not just something I did during coffee breaks. So when a brochure came around announcing the opening of a new retirement home in Oakland, Piedmont Gardens, and they were looking for staff members, I decided I'd apply for the job there. They had an opening for they call it house grounds directors in those days. And so I thought, I could do that job. I'm handy with my hands. I always loved to build things. I was always taking everything apart I could get a hold of. And so I applied for that job, and they took a big chance and gave it to me. So I started in 1969 at Piedmont Gardens just a couple of months before it opened. So I was there just at the tail end of construction and the opening of Piedmont Gardens, which started out originally as just one building, the 11-story high-rise residence. And then I was there for the next 13 years. I was the facilities director. Well, they're still calling us house and grounds directors then. During the time when that campus expanded greatly, 2 new buildings were added, and it became a major landmark in that part of Oakland. So I was there for 13 years as the house grounds director. But at the end of that 13 years in the early 1980s, they had an opening became available for a administrator of Grand Lake Gardens, which was a related ABHAO facility a few miles away. I was very familiar with it. And so I thought, well, I'll give that a try. I'll try being an administrator over there. Nowadays, they're all called executive directors, but we were administrators back in those days. So they took another chance on me, and I went over there, and I was the administrator there for more than 10 years. A wonderful experience. It was a great community. Had very close ties with Piedmont Gardens because all of it was just an independent living residence. All of the health services were provided at Piedmont Gardens. So there was a very close connection between those two sites. So I was there for 10 years or more. But by that time, I think I had decided that I really missed my hands-on maintenance work. I just always loved to get my hands into things, to do the troubleshooting, to be out there working with people on the job. So when the announcement came around about the opening of the terraces and that they were looking for staff for the terraces, I thought, well, I'm in a position in my life now where I can do that. I can take a step down the corporate ladder and go back to becoming a department head rather than an administrator. So I did that, and I joined the staff at the terraces in September of 1992. That was about 3 months before the building was complete there. The sidewalk and curbs were in, but there were no streets. There was just a frantic amount of activity going on trying to get the building finished. They knew they wanted to open in December. And so there was just tremendous amount of activity going on during those 3 months to get the facility completed. And it was a great day when in mid-December of 1992, the first residents started arriving on campus and moving into their brand new apartments. And I remember it so fondly, those days when it started. So I stayed there as the house grounds director. Soon the title changed a few times to the facility manager. And so I had the job that Vincent has at this point in time, and had all the fun of meeting all the residents, helping many of you get moved in and get your pictures hung and all of that. A job I just loved. I look forward to working every day. I could hardly wait to get there. So I was there until 2006 when I retired, after about 37 years with ABHAO. Of course, that name had changed now. But I was there a long time. And so I retired, continued to keep an interest in senior housing. I was on the board of Piedmont Gardens after I retired. So I commuted to Piedmont Gardens for a few years to be on the board up there. But when an opportunity became available for me to join the board at the terraces, that was what I really wanted to do. We live in Campbell. It's very close by. I wanted to be an active board member, which I couldn't be very well in Oakland. So I joined the board in let's see, what was it? 2013, I joined the board. So I've been on the board since then, seen many wonderful things happen at the terraces. Still, I miss so much not being able to come over there and be a bigger part of what's going on. But I'm still very much interested and excited about the developments there. And I look forward to all of the new things that are going to go on in the near future. And when we're going to get out of this Zoom routine and be able to meet again in person. So thank you for this opportunity to share my story with you. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you again in person.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mark. That was great. We're truly fortunate to have you and have had you for so many years on our advisory board. And we appreciate all that you've done. My notes say for the past 3 decades, but I scratched that off, and I think we're up to 5 decades of being associated not only with the terraces of Los Gatos, but the organization. So thank you so much, Mark. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
As we all know, we're living in a time where labor management, recruitment, and retention is more important, and in many ways much more challenging than it's ever been, or at least than it's been in a very long time. We're certainly facing our fair share of challenges, and Christy, our Human Resources Director, she'll report on recruitment and retention in greater detail in just a few minutes. But the current environment, however, has actually helped create some opportunities for us to bring in some very talented individuals to the Human Good organization here at the Terraces of Los Gatos. We have 2 of our newest team members with us here in the meeting today, and we will give each of them a couple of minutes to introduce themselves now. First, we will hear from Cindy McCalmont, our Spiritual Care Director, who will oversee the development and the implementation of our community's spiritual care program. Then after Cindy, we'll hear from Bill Penrod, our Assistant Skilled Nursing Administrator, who will be overseeing all of the daily operations within the health center. We are glad that they're both here with us, and we'll turn the time over to Cindy now.
Thank you, Bradley. First, let me apologize for having my mask on. This is the mask that Dana asked that I wear this week, and when I took it off, it was totally imprinted on my face from the day. So I decided it was maybe better for you to see me this way. But I'm looking forward to the time when masks are no longer necessary. I found myself sitting on the floor of the healthcare center this afternoon. One of the staff had come and gotten me and said that there was someone who needed to talk. And I went in, there was nowhere to sit, so I sat on the floor. And as I sat with this woman, I just had this really strong feeling that I was exactly where I needed to be. And I think that's the first thing I want to say to all of you is I feel very much that I am exactly where I need to be. That said, after 4 days, I have so much to learn, starting with where the printers are in the building and what my phone number is in the spiritual care office. These things are yet to be learned. And so once I get some of the basics down pat, I will begin to be able to plan with many of you spiritual programs and services that you would like to see. In the meantime, what I want to say to you is a little bit about my vision for spiritual care. And I'll start that by saying Albert Einstein once said that Our task in life is to remain as curious children in relationship to the great mystery into which we were born. When I think about spiritual care, spiritual issues, I often think about awe and gratitude and compassion, but increasingly I'm thinking about curiosity as well. I was born a Christian, a particular kind of Christian, a United Methodist. And from that tradition, I have been shaped to sing my faith and to live it out in concrete acts of service. I will always be United Methodist, but I've also learned that my faith has been deepened precisely to the degree to which I am curious about and open to other spiritual understandings. From my Jewish friends, I've experienced the profound blessing that can be found around a table. From my Buddhist friends, I've learned about the power of focusing on breath, particularly as I sit with the suffering of others. From my Roman Catholic friends, I've expanded my understandings about contemplative prayer, especially centering prayer as taught by Father Thomas Keating. And from friends who have no faith at all, I've found wisdom that resonates in my soul, particularly from my dear friend, Stephen Pocklington, who says, human beings are not problems to be solved, they're mysteries to be honored. My hope for the spiritual care program at the Terraces of Los Gatos is simply this, that we will be curious about and open to mystery. Not just mystery as it's found in synagogues or churches or cathedrals, but mystery that we also can find and celebrate in each other. Thank you for letting me be here with you.
Thank you very much, Cindy. We really, really appreciate it. And we appreciate you being here with us here at the Terraces of Los Gatos. I know that you have already made an impact on several people's lives, and we look forward to all that you will contribute to our community in the coming days, weeks, months, years. So again, Cindy, welcome to the team. And next, we will turn the time over to Bill Penrod. Bill, let's see if you can beat that message from Cindy. That's a hard act to follow.
Yeah, I get to follow Mark, and then I get to follow Cindy. Wonderful. Good afternoon, everyone. And Bradley, thank you for the introduction. And Cindy, thank you for the wonderful inspiration. I feel privileged to be here at Terraces of Los Gatos. I've worked with seniors for 11 years, so I've heard a lot of great things about the Terraces and Human Good, and before that, ABHOW, and I've known Bradley for a while now, so I feel privileged that I get to be part of this family and mix here at the Terraces. This is my passion. This is my form of service. I didn't do military time or anything like that, so I feel like this is my opportunity to serve our seniors, especially the greatest generation and beyond. I don't call it work. When I go home, my wife says, "How was work?" I said, "I didn't work today. I got to go to my community and work with others and serve our residents." A little bit about me. I worked at 2 previous communities in the area, one for 11 years. That's where I got my chops. I didn't think I'd be in this field for very long. I have a sports background. That's what I went to college for. I'm a graduate of San Jose State University, and I had the privilege to serve there in the athletic department and work for the Spartans and help put those things together. And then my wife and I had children. We have 2 kids. So I put my career on hold and decided to get into senior living. Well, that's where my career is thriving. I made a great choice to come into this field, and I've never regretted one day of work or one day of coming to the community. I've been married for 25 years to my wife, who has allowed me to work in nonprofit setting. So once again, another privilege. I just came from another community on the other side of town, and that was for the for-profit world. So big learning lesson for me. I want to be a nonprofit, and as Cindy mentioned at the beginning of hers, I'm at the right place at the right time, and I feel like that this is the best place for me. And I thank Bradley again for bringing me on board. I look forward to serving all of you in the very near future. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill, for those words, and thank you for being a part of our team. As Bill mentioned, Bill and I have known each other through as industry colleagues, as they say, for a number of years. Bill and I actually were part of a leadership training program that was put together through Leading Age. That's where we first met. And so, although I haven't had the opportunity to work directly with Bill in the past, I've been able to see his great leadership skills and his talents, and look forward to all that he will be bringing to the health center. Again, thank you, Bill. All right, we will now turn the time over to Christy McKinney, our Human Resources Director, who will provide us an update on all things human resources related.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to give you an update on what's happening in the HR world. I know there was a request from Mrs. Sampson on open positions. So I wanted to kind of start off with that, and I'm just going to provide just our full-time positions, but we do have what we call as part-time, which is any positions under 30 hours, and then our on-call, which is just as needed. So we do have those open positions. But in terms of the full-time positions, we have about 22 open positions for full-time. In our health center, we're looking at nurses, about 4 nurses, which would, the screen went out. Are you still all here?
Yep.
Okay. 4 nurses in the health center, 2 RNs and 2 LVNs. We're looking at caregivers or CNAs in our assisted living and our memory care. So there's about 3 needed in each of those levels. 3 CNAs in our health center. We're looking for 1 dietary aide, so it's tray line in the kitchen, 3 dishwashers, 2 housekeepers, 1 janitor, 1 cook, and 1 wellness nurse. So again, that just gives you a little bit of an overall that mostly every position that we have here, we are looking for at least 1 full-time person to fill those positions. So we are very busy in sourcing, interviewing, sending out offer letters, etc. I do have a document I can show you. I don't want to overwhelm you, but sometimes people like to actually see what it is that I'm talking about. So I don't know if it's okay if I share my screen, Bradley.
Go for it.
Let's see. Oh my goodness. I'm so used to using Teams. I'm not sure how to share it on this screen here. Want me to send you the document and you can post it up for me?
Sure.
Okay. My apologies. And while that's coming up, I will provide you with our anniversary. our team members, because that's always important. We want you to know. We have 14 anniversaries in the month of February. We have 3 team members celebrating 0 to 5 years, 3 team members celebrating 6 to 10 years, 5 team members celebrating 11 to 15 years, 1 celebrating 16 to 20 years, and 2 celebrating over 21 years. In fact, Manny Gutierrez, which is one of our buildings and grounds team member, is celebrating 28 years. A long time, because we will be here 30 years in December. So he has been here almost since we have opened. So I'm sure Mark Knudsen will remember that as well. So very excited about those 14 team members that are celebrating their anniversary this month. All right. So this just gives you an overall idea. I hope everybody can see that. We've kind of blown it up in a large manner. Don't feel like you have to read it, but it's just there if you'd like to see it. The box that's up at the top are team members that we've already hired since we met last. So this gives you an idea of their name, position. Per diem is on call, the hire date, and what position. So Catherine, you may remember her as our DON, and then she also worked as an assistant administrator. She has returned back to us working on an on-call basis. Mel is working part-time as an LVN in the health center. Ludovina is actually a returning team member in our memory care. And Courtney's working in the health center as an LVN, and we've hired 2 concierges, one in the health center and 1 in resident services. And then just within the last week, we've got some other team members that started. We have 5 that started this week, and I know you've heard from a couple of them already. So Serena, who is one of our charge nurses in the health center, she's on call. She started on February 2nd. Bill, you heard about, and he just spoke recently. Charmaine will be starting, our new assisted living wellness director will be starting on February 14th. Cindy started on Monday. Star is one of our charge nurse RNs. She's still in our onboarding process, but will be starting. We have a couple team members that haven't been cleared, but have gone through the hiring process. Ellie, which is, I know her name's really long, but she's our health center concierge. She started on Monday. Lisa Lee is one of our new wellness nurses. She also started on Monday, and then a couple other folks still in our onboarding process. We have also been conducting interviews, and in particular, I know Sandy has interviewed a concierge, Eros, and we are looking, which I know Bradley has talked about, having somebody in the HR department that will primarily focus on recruiting. So I actually had the opportunity, along with Andrea, to meet with Renee yesterday via Zoom. And we have a couple of other team members. I'm sorry, Bradley, won't see the list below. But hopefully I haven't overwhelmed you all, but I just wanted to give you an overall idea of all the activity that's going on in the HR world. Hopefully that.
Christy, is Charmaine a replacement for Agnes in wellness?
Yes. So Bradley and I are working on what that's going to look like, but Charmaine will manage the overall AL department, assisted living department, memory care, and wellness. But yes, there will be, I don't know which capacity, but we will have somebody replacing in that particular department. Bradley, I don't know if you're able to talk about that yet, or if you've made some decisions, but yes, we will.
Yeah, we will actually have something that we'll be releasing to the community next week that will outline in detail what our leadership structure will look like moving forward once Charmaine joins the team. Good question. All right. Thank you, Christy, very much. We appreciate that report. And we appreciate all that you and Andrea are doing to support the community. I know it is a very busy time in the HR world right now, and we're lucky to have you. Thank you, Christy.
Thank you. And thank you to the residents also, because you make a big part of our team members joining the team and continuing to work here. So it definitely is a partnership. So thank you for all that you do to make our team members feel valued and appreciated every single day. It is really important. So thank you.
All right. Next, we will turn the time over to Jerry Austin, our Director of Dining Services, for a report on all things dining related.
Thank you, Bradley. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to begin with some exciting news. Due to the declining cases of COVID in the county and in our community, we have reopened the health center dining room this morning. Assuming there are no major outbreaks within the community, we'll also be reopening the lodge dining room on Monday, February 7th. In addition, we will also be reopening the main dining room on Thursday, February 10th. We're really pleased that we can resume in-person dining. However, I would like to remind everyone, for yours and others' safety, to please be mindful of wearing your masks when you come into the dining room. In addition, we're asking that you wear your mask if you need to get up from your table for any reason, and of course that you wear your mask as you leave the dining room. We hope you enjoyed your treats that we sent out to you last Tuesday evening in celebration of the Chinese New Year. We really enjoyed putting the boxes together, and we're happy we had the opportunity to send out something special. With that, we have a couple of dates coming up that I'd like to share with you as well. Obviously, this Super Bowl Sunday, next Sunday after next, February 13th, we're planning on having some boxes with snack items ready for you during lunch so that you can take them home and enjoy them with the game later that day if you like. The following day is Valentine's Day. Chef has a special meal planned. More details on that as we get closer to the date and we know for sure that the items we'd like to serve you are going to be available to us. On that note, supply chain continues to be an issue, but I think we've been able to avoid most of the problems that many other food service establishments have run into. Chef has been flexible with the menu, and we've been pretty resourceful in finding solutions to some paper items that we've been shorted on, but overall things have worked pretty well. I'm just bringing it up again to remind you that it still is an issue. And if for some reason we have to substitute out your favorite dessert for something else, or if something comes in a package you've not seen before, just know we're doing what we can to bring you what we promise each day on the menu. And lastly, as many of you know already, February 18th will be my last day here at the Terraces. That means this will be my last State of the Business report with you. And I just wanted to thank you for allowing me to be a part of your lives each day, and as well as your friendships. I've truly enjoyed being here for the past 2 years. COVID has made that experience a bit more exciting than what I thought it would be, but I can't imagine any other place I'd rather be for the last 2 years. I'd like to thank you and each and every one of you for the support and kindness that you've shown me and my team, and say I most definitely will miss being a part of this special community. With that, I also wanted to say that I have the utmost faith in my team, and I know they'll continue to give you the very best culinary experience as they continue to do their best to bring you the dining experiences you've come to expect. So with that, have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for everything.
I have a question. It's Ruth Hensley.
Yes,
Hello? Okay, my question is, if the dining room will open supposedly February 10th, if all goes well, what's the process for signing up for times, etc., or when should we do that?
Are you talking as far as reservations?
Yes. Or
Okay.
should we just come?
Yeah, the reservations. Yeah, just come whenever you want.
Right.
No. Please make a reservation. Yeah, it's going to be the same as what it was before. So if you can just sign on and place the reservations as what we did before, that would be great.
Like 5 days before, like now, soon? Is it open to do that?
I believe that it's open. It probably still is open. I don't think we ever shut it down. So we had it open for 7 days prior. So I imagine that would be the case. Yeah, you should be able to do that 7 days prior.
Okay, I just didn't know. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Oh, no, good question. Thank you.
Jerry, this is Susan. Susan Shaw. I would just like to say that the dining committee and me personally, we have found you so easy to work with, and you have been such a great part of dining. I just thought I needed to mention it. I am getting so much feedback from people who are devastated by the fact that you are leaving. So I thought you should know. It's been a pleasure to work with you.
Thank you. It's been wonderful working with everybody on the dining committee and you especially. And yeah, it's gonna be something I'm gonna miss a lot. I'll say that.
You can always phone in.
Hey, we got Zoom now, right? We can Zoom. Send me the link.
What about a replacement for you?
There is no replacement.
Oh dear.
Oh, that was sweet. That was sweet.
Well, thank you very much, Jerry. I truly appreciate as well all that you've done for our community over the past 2 years. One of the things that has really been fortunate that you've brought to our community is your ability to train, inspire, educate those around you. And we appreciate how you've been able to develop the dining services team and the systems that you've put in place. So I as well am confident in the dining services team after your departure. So, you know, if you want to just leave now, we'd appreciate. No, I kid. We are going to miss you tremendously, Jerry. We wish you and your family nothing but continued success. Yeah, with Zoom, no one's ever too far anyway. So I'm sure we'll still be in touch. As far as replacements go for Jerry, we have an interim director of dining services who will be joining us to help transition as Jerry departs. And we are in the midst of interviewing a few final candidates for the dining services position. Our Morrison partners have been very, very proactive, and we anticipate having a replacement hopefully not too long after Jerry's departure. Also, just so everyone is aware, we'll have an opportunity to extend our appreciation to Jerry in person and bid him farewell a week from tomorrow. And more details will be shared in the coming days. Next, we will turn the time over to Sandy Mirasol, our Resident Services Director.
Good afternoon, everybody. Don't have a lot since a lot of the other things that I was going to mention was mentioned in regards to what open positions that I had in my department. And thank you, Christy, for giving that information. As some of you may know, we currently only have Vic as our driver right now because Bilal went back home to Ethiopia for a while. He's away for a month. He told me that he hadn't been home to Ethiopia for 7 years, so that's a long time. And he will return on March 7th. And when he returns, he will start his course for getting a Class C what is called a Class C passenger driver's license. So he will be able to also drive the big bus that we have. So I'm glad that he's going to do that when he returns. So then we'll have 2 drivers who can drive that big bus. The other thing is we will have upcoming events. One is a lion dance that will happen on February 19th. That is a Saturday. That will be in the Fountain Court, and it starts at 2:00 p.m. It gets a little loud, so that's why it'll be outside in the Fountain Court, but it's something fun that I think all of you would enjoy. If you haven't seen one already, it's something new and also very fun. We have started resuming some things in the spring court. As you know, we've started the exercise classes back there. And I was informed by Bradley that we'll resume indoor activities as well. And we can start bus trips as well as of the 9th of February. That's next Wednesday, I believe, or Tuesday, next week. So there was a question by Mrs. Shaw, Betsy, about symphony things and things that were coming up that needed the bus driver, needed the bus to get over there. And so we'll have that to answer her question. We will have it, that bus trip. And I think that's all that I really have at the moment. I'm very busy lately just assisting families and residents who are transferring over to a higher level of care at this time.
Sandy?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, this is Linda. Recently, the town sent out letters to residents who are in the below market housing units. And I'm wondering, do we do the requalification, if you will, directly with them, or do we do it through you?
What Ronnie and I had discussed is those of you who are currently those residents who are currently on the program, they may just submit their IRS form from last year, or if you have already done your accounting, which we can, I don't think everybody has, because I know everyone's waiting for that medical deduction letter from CSC, and that information will be in the weekly updates about the medical deduction or tax information regarding medical deduction for last year. That normally comes out by the last week of February. So we won't reach that deadline for house keys, which is monitoring the Town of Los Gatos below market program. So what Ronnie and I are requiring right now from those who are on the below market program is just your IRS statement from last year. That's all we want.
In 2021?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And we give it to you, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Any more questions? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sandy, for that report. And as always, thank you for all that you do for the community. Next, we will turn the time over to Vincent Foresta for an update from Buildings and Grounds.
Hello, everyone. Updates from Buildings and Grounds. We've recently had a fire and life safety inspection that occurred on January 26th. I had the pleasure of going around with the Santa Clara County Fire Marshal. We're inspecting the entire community, reviewing a year's worth of documentation. I'm pleased to say that we've passed with no violations. So I'm extremely proud of my team and all other departments to ensure the success of this inspection. Some other projects going on around the community. The Lodge Dining Room recently received some renovations. We've repainted the Lodge Dining Room to match the color scheme of the main dining room. And wow, what a difference it's made. It looks very nice and we're very pleased with it. We've also added the addition of a new 100-gallon, 8-foot fish tank to the dining room. This fish tank is now home to 7 koi fish, which will grow from anywhere from 3 to 4 feet long. And no worries, these fish are on an auto feed system, so no need to feed them. Also, I'm currently working on getting all new tables and chairs for the dining rooms in each level living from the Lodge, Grove, and Health Center. These new dining tables and chairs will match the tables from our recently renovated main dining room. We're still to be determined on the date of their arrival, but they have been ordered. We're very much looking forward to those. I know our Lodge residents and other residents and levels of care will appreciate them. Lastly, we've added some new video recording equipment in our GRA. This new equipment will give us the ability to live stream events in a more professional way to TLG Connect. So we hope that you'll enjoy that when you're viewing from home. Any questions for me?
Vincent,
Know
this
how
is,
much longer the lights will be on and the decorations in the fountain court?
Decorations in the fountain courtyard are to come down sometime next week. I don't have an exact date, but they said they'll be out here sometime next week to remove them. And I know there's been some talk about possibly keeping some of the lights up along the trees in the esplanade and possibly in the gazebo. So I'm looking at finding some solutions to possibly putting some more permanent lighting in there.
Good.
Year-round.
Thank you.
Okay, Vincent, once
Yeah.
upon a time, many years ago, I remember when we used to have window washing. And now that we are opening up again, do you have any thoughts about when we might have window washing so we can see out?
Yeah, that's definitely something on the schedule. I know we did primarily postpone it due to the drought that we are still currently in. I think it's kind of a decided thing, but if we get an agreement maybe and talk to Bradley, we could see about doing something like that, resuming those services. But regards to the drought, we've kind of put that on hold.
All right. Thank you very much, Vincent, for that report. And thank you for all that you and your team do for the community. For those of you who have not had a chance to see the dining room in assisted living, when you have time, go check it out. That fish tank is awesome. So I think that's a great addition to the assisted living dining room. Again, Vincent, thank you very much. Next, we will have the opportunity to hear from another very hardworking person from our community. And this time it is the chair of the TLG Foundation, Judy Lovell. Let me see if I can find Judy and bring her up.
I'm here. Hi, everybody. So in November, the foundation committee started a fundraising effort, which is not over until June 30th. And so I wanted to take an opportunity to give a huge thank you to Ken Houghton, who really poked us and got us started on this major event. Very, very much appreciated to Ken. So because we're still continuing with the fundraising effort, the committee is working on putting together some fun events that we can do away from the community that'll be fun for the residents, but will also help you contribute to the fundraising effort. And there'll be more coming on in the next few weeks on those upcoming events. Things have been kind of on hold because of the shutdown, so hopefully in April, we'll be able to do something fun with you. So the goal for the fundraiser was $250,000. And as of yesterday, we reached $289,902.53. Thank you to the community. Huge thank you. I love this community. You all just really, really chipped in. So I'm looking forward to continuing working with you and helping us through the fundraiser. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Judy. Thank you for all the work that you do, and thank you to the entire foundation committee. And all the residents, team members, family members, advisory board members who continue to support the important work that the foundation does. We appreciate you all very, very much. Thank you, Judy. All right.
To Jerry Austin also, he was so helpful in putting together so many of our wonderful treats with the fundraiser kickoff, the ice cream social in August. I mean, he just made everything run so smoothly, and I very, very much appreciate him, and I know the committee does too. So thank you, Jerry.
All right. Before we close, I have a few other updates to share. As Jerry and Sandy both mentioned earlier, the dining rooms are scheduled to open midweek next week, as well as in-person group activities and events. Barring any significant changes in the status of COVID-19 between now and then. And again, we'd just like to remind everyone to continue to wear your properly fitted face masks at all times, except while you're actively eating or drinking. On the subject of COVID-19, we currently have 3 team members that remain in isolation due to positive COVID-19 tests. And as of today, we do not have any residents that are positive for COVID-19 at this time. As a reminder, all visitors are required to be screened and also provide proof of full vaccination, including booster shots if they are eligible for booster shots, as well as a negative COVID-19 test that was taken within either 24 or 48 hours, depending on the type of test that was given. We know that is particularly challenging due to scarcity of tests and test kits. We anticipate a change to this requirement to come from the California Department of Public Health sometime within the next few weeks, hopefully. We anticipate that we will shift from being required to have proof of vaccination and a test to requiring either proof of vaccination or a negative test. But we haven't heard anything definitive from the California Department of Public Health yet. Let's see, I'm happy to share that we have started an ongoing training program for residents to help residents become more aware of and more comfortable with our online community engagement platform, TLG Connect. Those training sessions will take place over the course of the next several weeks, if not months. And they are currently taking place on Mondays at 2:30, and keep an eye out on the weekly updates and possibly some additional information that will be coming to your mailboxes soon. Linda Price, our Director of Sales, typically provides a report on occupancy and new move-ins. She couldn't be with us today, and we just wanted to make sure that we mention Helen Cockrum is a new resident to the Terraces of Los Gatos who will be moving in next week on February 11th to L137. And after a very busy December, we did not have any new residents move in during the month of January. Lastly, but most certainly not least, I would like to take a moment to recognize one of our incredibly valuable team members, Agnes Toribio. Agnes is a very talented registered nurse who has dedicated her life to the nursing field through practicing nursing herself, as well as training and educating others in the field. She's developed here at the Terraces of Los Gatos and in other organizations she worked with actually all across the world in developing several very successful nurse and nursing development programs. We have been privileged to have Agnes on our leadership team for the past 11 years. And we congratulate Agnes on her upcoming retirement. Agnes, we appreciate you so very much. We're excited for you. We're happy that you are embarking on this next phase of your life in retirement. And we cannot thoroughly express our appreciation for all that you have done, not only for our community and organization, but for the nursing field as a whole. Agnes's last day here at the Terraces of Los Gatos will be March 2nd, and we will certainly have an opportunity to celebrate with her prior to her departure. So stay tuned for more details on when that will take place. That concludes this month's State of the Business. We thank you all for joining us today, and we thank you for being a part of the Terraces of Los Gatos community. It looks like we have 1 minute left. If anyone has any questions or comments that you'd like to share before we close, go ahead and unmute yourselves and do so now.
Bradley, I have one question, and that is, do you know when or about when we will be able to go up to the health center to visit residents?
That is a good question, and that will be, I don't know. I don't know. We'll touch base with Dana, our infection preventionist, and see what the current guidelines are and what we anticipate. And we'll make sure to include that information, probably not in the weekly updates tomorrow, but if there is a change before the next week's weekly updates, we'll make sure that gets communicated.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good question. Any other questions before we close? All right. Again, thank you all for joining us. We appreciate each of you and wish you all an enjoyable rest of the day. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Bradley.
Thank you, Bradley.
Bradley.